You support Donald Trump?
I do.
Okay, why is that?
The country, my opinion, of course, the country needed a change, and it was a good change. And it kind of woke the establishment up, to be honest.
Okay, we need to change.
And,
What type of change do we need? In what direction?
well, I think the point is for him of being America first is a good thing. I mean, you know, we should be more independent and less self-reliant on outside resources from different countries. But I know that that's going to be. I'm sorry for the but uh, I know that that's going to happen.
Can I ask you a question?
We need. Yes, please.
Yeah, so why do you think that it was good for him specifically to undermine funding for renewable energy production in the United States, as that serves as a substitute for energy production? It would make us less energy dependent on other nations. It would make us more energy independent.
I don't think he's downsizing the renewable energy. That's already well established and won't go away no matter what.
No, 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 no.
And
Like he
so
was limiting the funding for that on a stage on the federal scale because of him
and
gutting the Inflation Reduction Act.
just recently, right? This is recently you're talking about, or are you
Mm-hmm.
talking about when he went coming in?
This is
Dude, if you don't,
since he got in office.
okay. So the renewable energy sector has been established and isn't going anywhere. It'll be around forever. The renewable, I mean, as far as us doing coal and fracking and all that, it's going to happen no matter what. So why not?
Okay, well,
I think it's just giving everybody an option, have choices, just like you have a choice. It's giving the American public a choice on,
Kamala Harris
hey,
wasn't
you want to,
restricting against choice, unless it is going to be the infringing upon other people's rights in terms of negative externalities. That's why we have climate policy, is because if you don't particularly have regulations at that level of distribution, you have worse overall social welfare as a society. Because it is the case that
Mhm.
they're, and by social welfare I mean overall everyone in terms of how much money that they have, right? Like it's
Right.
like, essentially like it's worse off on a societal level given it is the case that you do not impose the regulation because of, say, for example, if they use particular types of pollution mechanisms, it harms other people's health. We have to spend money as a society specifically on the fact that their health has been harmed, right? So
Hmm.
I think that we can point to plenty of things that were through the climate policies that you would think are really good that Donald Trump has undermined from a federal standpoint.
Well, give me an example of what's been undermined. Instead
I
of
told you
general, be specific. If you,
yeah, I told you specifically things in the Inflation Reduction Act. If you want to reference like the investments, right, in solar, in wind, right, in the Inflation Reduction Act, the timetables established by the Inflation Reduction Act, the different infrastructure policies set up through for like energy production, for energy infrastructure, in terms of providing
Mhm.
EV infrastructure for cars, the tax credits for
And,
EV.
but at the same point in time, don't you think that how are you going to generate electricity to provide electricity for the EV cars? You going to do that strictly off solar or
Solar,
wind?
wind. I told you solar, wind are the main investments for renewable energy
Yeah, but
production.
is that going to be able to give you? Is that your? Is that definite um,
Wait, it's
a
better
definite
investing
source
into
that
those renewable energies than not doing so, because that's what Trump is doing. He says the climate's going to start
I,
cooling and that science just doesn't know it yet.
I don't know. I haven't heard that comment from him, but
Do you want me to play it?
what I would,
I'll play the audio. I actually have it right here
um,
on
yeah, sure,
right
why
here.
not? Let's hear what we got to hear.
So I think one area of mutual agreement and priority is vegetation management. But I think we want to work with you to really recognize the changing climate and what it means to our forests and actually work together with that science. That science is going to be key because if we ignore that science and sort of put our head in the sand and think it's all about vegetation management, we're not going to succeed together protecting Californians.
Okay. It'll start getting cooler.
I
You
wish
just you just watch.
I wish science agreed with you.
Well, I don't think science knows
I
actually.
know,
I met
He thinks science doesn't know.
I
That's your
know.
president.
Yeah, I think,
Is
yeah,
that
that
not
is my
embarrassing on a
president.
global stage?
No, no, it's not. And who gives a sorry, I didn't mean to cuss. Who cares what the global stage is? Listen, We could
What?
point fingers.
That's like the president of the United States thinking the Earth is flat.
That is not simply. That's a totally different concept, and so I don't know why you'd use it as an example.
What do you mean? Like that?
You're forgetting.
This is objectively verifiable information. What he said was verifiably false. Like
He did
objectively
say that.
verifiably false. The same thing with saying
But
the Earth
we-
is flat.
True. Okay, but all right. So let me say this. We went the first time with him, and he wouldn't shut up. He just would not shut up and said stupid things. But his point was, what hurts him as the president, even though I voted for him every time. He just doesn't shut up, and he says things. He came back, I think, better prepared this round with
In what way?
the people that he has behind him.
Like who?
And so, well, I like JD Vance. I know, but get this.
Can you tell me one thing JD Vance has done other than vacation since he's been vice president, like as vice president?
Oh, you think he's vacationed the whole time he's been vice president?
Yeah, can name one thing
that
that
what
he's done as vice president. As vice
Well, he
president.
went to Minnesota to see the Annunciation school. He went and laid flowers there.
Laid flowers?
Yeah.
I'm sorry, he hasn't passed any legislation. He hasn't influenced to get any policy passed. He's just laid flowers? Do you know anything else?
I mean, that's all I kind of really know that as far as that he's been prominent. I know he's been over to overseas and done some things for the U.S., but
Such as?
I can't be specific on that.
Okay.
Sorry.
So
But
can you name anyone in his
hey, wait.
administration that is uplifting him and like specifically what they've done to uplift him?
JD Vance or the president?
Yeah, because I mean, JD Vance, anyone on the administration, anyone on Trump's administration, because JD Vance specifically said that he wouldn't have certified the election results in 2021. Like he would have specifically not
did?
certified the election results from 2020. Yeah, he said that he wouldn't do that.
Oh, you mean
and he would have certified the votes specifically on Trump's behalf, even though he lost the election, because Vance believes that he won the election.
Yeah,
which is insane,
most
right?
hardcore Republicans. No. I mean, well, yes, but
Okay.
Excuse me, I didn't keep saying but at the same time, you got to consider that the hardcore Republicans didn't think that believe, and still to this day believe, that it was stolen from him. You know,
You don't believe that though. You think that's delusional, right?
I don't think it's delusional. I think it's their right to
What?
believe whatever they want to believe.
Well, it's
Just as
it's
same
false,
as you.
right? It is objectively false.
I don't feel that way. Yes, I think he lost it, and he lost
It's
it.
not
because
about
of
the way that we
shut his damn
feel. It's
mouth.
about what the evidence indicates. The evidence indicates that Biden won the 2020 election. Point blank.
Okay,
Period.
fine. Yeah, absolutely. Yep, without a doubt.
Okay.
Trump came back and re-won it after 4 years.
But
And
that
that's
doesn't change.
okay.
That doesn't change that in 2020 that they would have tried to overturn the election because they believed that they won an election when they didn't. What makes it free
Yeah.
and fair in 2020 to them, but not in 2024 when they weren't in office and the Democrats were in office? That makes no sense. The Democrats could rig it when they weren't in office, but when they get in office, they can't rig it.
No. I don't know about rigging. I'm not going down that path because that has nothing to.
Well, that's what
to
they
do
believe.
with what-
And if you think that's okay, you think that's preparing him better for his administration, I really would just ask you, how is that doing so?
What? And what point? Wait a minute. You lost me there. How did the rigging help him? Is that what you're saying, or went against him?
No, how do you think that that's okay for a vice president, right, to hold to in terms of better preparing the president to do better in terms of like, serving the nation, like what the president's supposed to do?
So you don't think the president is supporting the nation right now?
No, I think
At
he's
all?
actively harming the nation.
You don't think in any way that he's helping the U.S. in any way? There's not anything that he's
it's net negative.
helping
Like
us with.
I can reference policies, like certain aspects of the policies, like through the
I
child tax
understand
credit
your
increase,
policies.
but
Yeah,
that would be
sure.
even more under Democrats. right, than it was under Trump. So anything you can point to that to some degree I agree with Trump on, like, for example, he thinks Social Security should exist to some degree, right? That
You're damn
doesn't
right,
mean
yes.
that I agree with him across the board, just because I can acknowledge that he agrees with me to some
Exactly.
level that Social Security should exist. Now, I think it should exist to a greater
Exactly.
extent than him, right? He thinks it should be cut
What-
to a greater extent. We should have less funding for that because his big, beautiful bill specifically does that. It quite literally makes it more likely that Social Security will become insolvent by 2032. That's according to the Congressional
Oh,
Budget Office, a nonpartisan committee from the federal government.
Well, that's not just because of one president, my friend. That is numerous people that are responsible for this.
Well, Trump
So
signed
you-
off on
you
4
can point-
trillion more debt-related spending.
Yeah, and so does every other president.
No, I said he did 4
So-
trillion more comparative to the Biden-Harris administration.
That's fine. That is absolutely
That's
fine.
not
Every
fine.
year, dude, there's nothing you can listen. Wait, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to say it like that. But anyway, my opinion is from my years of alive, says that it's been every president's thing. I want to reduce the excuse me, I'm sorry, the national debt, but they can't. They can attempt it, but they can't. You know, they can promise you what, but no matter what, Biden didn't have anything to do with it. It's what it is. You know, the
Wait.
debt.
If you compare the two candidates, there would be less debt-related spending signed into law if you chose the
No,
Democrats.
there wouldn't.
Yes,
No, no.
The Committee for Responsible Federal Budget and nonpartisan committee from the federal government indicates that, again, Biden signed 4 trillion less debt-related spending comparative to Trump. And the campaign plans for the next administration, Harris versus Trump, would do 4 trillion less for Harris comparative to Trump.
And maybe she would have, but from what my opinion, from what I saw, Harris got thrown into the mix and was not prepared. And that's not by her fault. That's by the party's fault. And that's all there is to that. Would Harris, if she had more time to prepare, be a better someone to better battle? Absolutely, absolutely. But they threw her under the bus. They put her in too quick. So, you know, at one point when
She was
first
totally
came
prepared.
out,
Name one way that she wasn't prepared.
dude. Well, listen, I live in a blue state, and from what the media presented us, she was all over the place.
Wait, give me one way.
if
Tell me one
anything-
way. Give me a specific way.
But she was all over the place. Well, I guess we can go down the path of her going, I come from a working class family and blah, blah, blah. And I just didn't think she sold. Listen, when you want to become president, you got to sell yourself. And she just didn't sell it.
By the way, you
That's
didn't give
all
me an
there was to
example
it.
of her being all over the place. Now, can I give you examples of Donald Trump being all over the place? He said that he was going to
Well,
drain the
it's-
swamp. He said that he was going to release the Epstein files. He said he was going to repeal and replace the ACA. He said he was going to make Mexico pay for the wall that was being built. He didn't even do any
Yeah,
of
I
those
know.
things. He
No,
turned
he
on
didn't
all of
do-
those things. So explain to me how Kamala Harris is not prepared and all over the place, but you don't apply that same standard to Donald Trump, even though it's significantly more prevalent with Donald Trump, and you could even mention one circumstance where that was true with Harris.
Yeah, I guess I couldn't. Not right now, but does it, what's your point of, if you prove, which I'm sure you feel you have, what's the point of going, hey, he's out of control. So what are you going to do about it? What are you going to do about it? What should we do about it?
Yeah, I'm
What can
trying to
we
get
do
people
about it?
to realize that he's a horrible person. You shouldn't support him. You don't support candidates that hold the same ideology, and you make the country
Okay.
better off specifically by supporting other candidates. That's how I'm bringing attention to these different types of issues, and I'm trying to get people to be
Okay.
able to change these sorts of things. This is my mechanism of protesting, and other people have different
see.
mechanisms of protesting, and other
Yeah.
people will do different things, right? And I think protesting is really important. That's how I'm doing it here, is I'm changing people's minds. I'm getting people to realize that there are arguments to justify a progressive standpoint. Good arguments.
Okay, so all right. So let me ask you this then: Who's going to represent the Democrats in 2028?
I don't know.
See, now
Who's
here's
going
what
to
I'm
represent
saying.
who's going to represent the Republicans in 2028?
Oh, dude, JD Vance. He's
Well,
a shoe in.
Sure,
He's a
you think that's going to
shoo-in.
go well for you guys? You think that's going to go well? Good luck.
Absolutely.
Good luck.
Absolutely.
Good luck getting Vance
You guys
elected,
ain't got nobody. That's the thing. No, I'm just saying
dude.
the
Will be
Democrats haven't
any
given
Democrat
anybody.
that's running, any Democrat that has that's gonna be has a chance for in the primaries would destroy JD Vance. I mean, all I have to do is why do you support JD Vance, and then I'll just put a couch behind me, and we win, dude.
I don't think so, but that's your opinion. And but you got to think of it this way. If Trump did so well this election, why? Why did he do so well?
Because
Did
people
he steal
attributed
it?
inflation to the incumbent president, and then once they realized that the inflation actually got worse due to Trump's tariffs, because it's going to continue to go up, especially due to the fact that the U.S. dollar has gone down in value, given the fact that we've had horrible jobs reports recently, which is going to have huge impacts on inflation. So good luck.
Well, just
good luck. Good luck having Americans not blame it on you this time around. You guys tried to specifically say just because it happens under the administration that it's going to be caused by the administration. Now you guys are going to feel the wrath of the fact that Americans, right, realize that the inflation happened under your administration, and then they're going to blame you for it. So good luck, buddy. You guys are going to get blamed for that because you guys actually caused it.
And so Biden didn't do the same thing, and the president before him didn't do the same thing. Is that what you're saying?
No, they didn't.
So it's not.
They didn't do tariffs like Trump's advocating for. That's vastly different
Dude,
economic
now
policy.
Well, hold on. We're talking the economy. We ain't talking tariffs. Now you want to bring, if you want to bring
Tariffs are an
into the
economic
picture,
policy.
That's right. Now they are, and that's
What
only
do you-
because that's
What do you
his
mean
way
now
of-
they are? They've always been an economic policy. What are you talking about?
They haven't been brought to the forefront until Donald Trump came in.
Yes,
power.
exactly my point. Exactly my point. That's
Good point.
disastrous
That's right.
economic
So-
policy,
Okay.
right? That it.
But do
it
you understand
literally-
that? You understand that do you understand that he's trying to get us away from our loaning our debt out to China? He's trying to reel that in.
Then he didn't
And
reduce our debt. He didn't reduce our debt to China. He actually increased how much debt we're taking out.
Absolutely, and so did Biden, and so did the other
by
ones
a lesser
before.
degree
It's a
than Trump.
never-
By a lesser degree
So
than
what
Trump.
does
Do you
that
understand?
make?
$4 trillion less with the Biden-Harris administration comparative to the Trump administration. Is that not relevant to you?
I think that's an assumption. That's
Not an assumption. That's from the committee. That's from the Committee for Responsible Federal Budget. And
That's
what you're
an assumption
doing.
of.
Hold up. What you're doing
go
specifically
ahead,
with
sorry.
the tariffs is what you're doing is you're shifting the burden of taxation from those that are higher income to those that are lower income, because it is the case that it's passed down to the consumer because it's an aspect of cost of production and distribution for the American importer that's importing the product, right? And it is because they pay it to the American government. And that's going to then cause prices to increase, which disproportionately is going to harm people who are lower and middle income because they spend a greater proportion of their income on consumer goods. So people who are rich are going to spend significantly less as a proportion of their income in terms of these different taxes. So it's shifting the burden of taxation.
Right. But did you hear what you said? Those that have money are going, wait a minute, I don't want to spend that much money on that item. Maybe I don't need that item. Now, we're not talking beef,
Wait, these are
chickens, and all that
universal
stuff.
tariffs. These are everything. No,
I under-
universal
I
tariffs are applicable
understand
to
that.
everything.
I understand that. But the fact still stays that you're talking about something that is an additive. And that at least that's the way I look at it. Do I need that? Okay, they raised it, 50%. Do I really need that thing? No, I don't. I need food, and I need a job. I need transportation. So with those three things,
and tariffs affect
okay.
food prices.
No, they don't.
Yes, they do.
So you're going to tell me that the beef price raise is because of tariffs? Is that what you're going to tell me?
I'm telling
You're not
you
going to tell me that last year
tariffs affect all different types of
never-
food because it is the case that it affects our supply, right? If it is the case that you're reducing the supply that's imported into the country because you made the price higher for the American importer to buy that product, it is the case that it's going to reduce the supply of that good in our country, therefore causing the price to go up because the same level of demand for a decrease in supply causes the price to go up. Okay, that's
Right.
not just with that.
Absolutely.
That's with every single aspect of agriculture. That's with every single aspect of our domestic manufacturing process. That's why we've seen domestic manufacturing decrease, even though we've had tariffs imposed, because it is the case that we don't actually have an incentive to produce in the United States, because it is the case that we'd have to build different types of manufacturing products. So a lot of these companies are just eating the cost of the tariff. Right, and they can't do that for very long, so prices are likely to go up in the long run. That's why we've seen a 0.4% increase in inflation since the Liberation Day tariffs, and that's going to continue to go up, especially due to the fact that the dollar has been devalued as of recently, due to the horrible jobs reports.
It wasn't horrible. Come on, it was
Yeah, they
just
were terrible.
low.
22,000 last month for the whole country.
It's not bad.
Yes, it is. That's like
That's not
literally that's like
well,
five
that
times
hasn't.
less than expected. And for the average
Yeah,
that we were
maybe.
seeing the prior year under the Biden Harris administration, it was like 7 times less.
Do you don't think that these cuts that he did within the government weren't justified?
The cuts were horrible. I mean,
Oh, the cuts were due.
one that they're all of them haven't been imposed yet. If you want to reference some of
No,
them though, like for example, the 420,000 children that per month will lose access to the free school lunch, breakfast, right? The 2.5 million people that will lose access to their food stamps on average every month. The over 10 million people that will lose access to their health insurance through Medicaid. That is horrible. It also adds $3.4 trillion to the debt, according to the Congressional Budget Office. Again, a nonpartisan committee from
Medicaid.
the federal government.
Yeah, but Medicaid's not gone. That's an assumption. If that was the go, Medicaid is not gone, nor will it ever go away.
No, I said they're changing the requirements so that it reduces how many
Mhm.
people are eligible.
Yeah,
So it's cutting
I think
people's
there's a
access to those particular types of insurance
right,
mechanisms.
right. I think from my point of what that I've been told and shown, and whatever, but there's a lot of people that ride on um, food stamps, welfare, and that this is the government's way of trying to correct that and go, listen, yes, there are people that need help, but there are also people that can get off their lazy duffs and get out and get a job. And there are plenty of jobs.
So
Nobody wants to
did
do
you know that
some
there
of
are
them.
people who are disabled that are going to be impacted by this because they haven't quite yet qualified for disability, because it is the case that it takes a long time to be able to qualify?
Yeah,
So
you got to
yeah,
prove your
Republicans have
disability,
told you
dude.
that lie, but that's not true. They have told you that
Mm,
lie to be able to justify giving tax cuts to millionaires and billionaires at the expense of people in
it's
need.
not.
That's what they've told you. Those
You
are
don't.
lies to take money from the poor and to give it to the rich.
You don't think Democrats are the same way?
No,
You
because
don't
they
think you're.
actively
You don't think you're
advocate. Wait,
Nancy Pelosi's?
yeah, wait. You
It
say that
doesn't
they're the
matter if I
same way,
say
but the
whatever.
Republicans passed the policy to cut children off their access to free school lunch and breakfast, literally food
Oh,
stamps
because
and Medicaid. We can point to all of these different things. That wouldn't have happened with Democrats. We can reference they wouldn't impose tariffs policy, specifically that Donald Trump's imposed, which would have our economy significantly better off in terms of jobs production, real GDP growth, and it would have it better off in terms of inflation. So if you want to talk about
we'd
all of
still
these
be in.
different metrics, we can talk about them. But Donald Trump makes it worse off on all of these settings for the economy and for everyone that's living here.
Mm, you're able to have this forum. I don't think you're hurting, buddy.
What is that?
You're
Is that
still
an
living.
intellectual response to anything I just said? I
No,
have the
I mean,
platform.
I
I would
don't.
have a platform regardless.
Yeah, I guess if we were in a Demi thing, if we were in Democrats running the president, being president, yeah, I guess you would still have a thing,
Yeah,
right? Would you still be on here?
yeah. I stream to TikTok and
Good.
YouTube.
That's good. So, look, I think what if anything, and hey, thank you for not kicking me off or something because of whatever I've said wrong. But um, I think if you
I
just
would love a
I,
response to what I just said, though.
uh, I'm not as educated then. I can only tell you from a working side of the world. Um, you know, I've done. I'm a laborer, and
And you're
so
worse off because of
far,
Trump.
no, I'm not, brother.
Yep, your
Oh,
economy
I'm
isn't
not
growing
that.
as much. The jobs report's worse, so you have a worse labor market. The inflation is going up
Mm-mm.
more because of Trump. Every single way we point to how the economy is functioning, it is worse off because of
Worse.
Donald Trump. Explain to me how you're better off economically speaking because of Trump.
We haven't been better off since COVID. Um, so if you think about that, you add that in and think we're not worse off. It's a thought process that you think we're worse off, but you're. It's almost like Chicken Little. The sky's falling, but it's not falling. You gotta
While I
listen.
just gave you
Just
evidence, you're the one
you
saying,
gave
trust
me
me, bro, the
evidence.
sky's not falling, when I'm giving you evidence the sky is falling. You actually know in Chicken Little, the sky literally did fall? Did you not remember watching the show?
Oh, I didn't watch the show. I just saw the
or the
cartoon.
movie.
The paper thing. That's what
Yeah.
we had back then. But anyway, so it didn't fall, did it? What
Yes, it
fell?
did. It did. Literally in the movie, it fell.
Oh, I didn't see that movie.
You
But what I
gotta
was
watch
gonna
it then, apparently. Why'd you bring it up
evidently,
if you
I
haven't
just thought
seen the movie? If you haven't seen it,
because
why'd you bring it up?
because there before movie there was poster board and shit. You know what I'm saying? And
Okay.
so that's
Yeah.
what I know. Okay,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
that's what I'm
I'm
at for
I'm
that
just
one.
citing what I know because I
I
grew up
get
in that
it. I get
generation.
it.
Yeah.
I get it. I get it. But my thing of it is that um, why if you what's the whole point here? If you can get him out of office, or you get your congressional people to do their job and go, no, we're not passing this. No, we're not passing this. Is that the goal of what you want to do, or do you just want to say, listen, Donald Trump is a piece of garbage, and I just want to let everybody know that y'all screwed the pooch.
No, this is my goal. It's to get people away from this terrible economic policy, this terrible MAGA ideology, and to get people on a better route, specifically towards more progressive politics, like I've said earlier. Right? I have alternatives. I have solutions for things that I want to be put into place. I'm also providing things that I think are good policies. I have things that I think are good for the world. I'm not just saying specifically Donald Trump bad. I'm saying Donald Trump bad. Here's what we should do alternatively. Right? And that's
Okay.
Democratic politicians are significantly better than Republican politicians. And we can point to different things I even have disagreements with Democrats on. I have vast disagreements with
Yeah.
Democrats, but I can acknowledge the distinction between the two sides and indicate that Donald Trump's positions are so radically insane that it destroys the discourse in this nation. And that's why I'm here every single day talking about this, because it is a case that this is so destructful to our common discourse. Right? The fact that we're having conversations about how he's literally destroying the economy, this should be blatantly obvious to people based upon everything that I'm establishing. I'm not coming up here without any reason or without any evidence or any backing in what I'm saying. I'm providing sources, basis for what I'm saying, nonpartisan sources, not just providing left-wing sources, and I'm backing up what I'm saying. And that's what I think everyone else should do. So I'm also trying to incentivize other people to do the very same thing that I'm doing and not just accept things they see like we have been, historically speaking, through mainstream media and news platforms. Because that's the real fake news, is that you just listen to what they say without critically analyzing it at all.
Amen. Amen. I'll definitely, we agree on that. Amen. Um, hey,
But Trump relies on that though, right? He relies on people being less educated. That's why they want us to have like a defunded Department of Education. They don't want high scale education in this country because they know it turns people away from Republicans. Because as people become more educated, we do see that they are more democratic in terms of the way that they vote. And the way that Republicans try to explain it is that, oh, college is a scam. Oh, the colleges are just liberal indoctrination. Maybe just facts are more liberal. Why is it
oh,
that conservative college campuses aren't as prevalent in academia?
I will say, yeah. Hey, listen, I have a child that went into college and came out as a Democrat, and I was like, what the heck? And then it took a couple of years, and I could give a crap whoever votes for whoever, but uh, he came back over to the Republican side. But it
So
was,
watch this. So
yeah. I think.
as they were more educated and more in tune with facts and reality, they were
Oh,
more
you
aligned
can't
with
say
democratic policy.
that.
And as they turned away from that, right, and specifically didn't rely on those particular
Yeah,
mechanisms, right, and weren't in college and acquainted with reality, they are more likely to develop Republican ideology.
yeah. Oh, that was no, no. I mean, that was a good twist of words, my friend. I mean, you're going, oh, he was educated, therefore he was smarter, and he knew the Democratic Party was the way to go. When
Yeah,
that's clearly
it's
not a
because
true
Republicans are
statement.
trying to
It's a
brand education and intellectualism as a bad thing, which is harmful. And this
no.
anti-intellectualism has
Well,
led
what?
to movements like MAGA being prevalent within the MAGA movement. Do you know what MAGA is? They claim to make America healthy again, and then the guy that they propone doesn't even believe in science. Donald Trump, RFK, they don't believe in science. They don't base the realities of what they believe in
Yeah.
terms of health outcomes to be predicated off of science. The entire academic community is saying that they're wrong, and they're literally still perpetuating
Hey,
this
but
bullshit. It's based on conspiracy bullshit. It's not based on facts. It's not making America healthy again. It's making this country less healthy, and it's making corporations more wealthy.
but do we have facts on the unhealthiness yet? And who
Well,
says?
I
Just
can
think
tell
about this.
you.
What? You just. Oh, hang on, hang on. But what if he's right? I mean,
He's
just
not.
what if?
He's literally not. What if the entire academic community is wrong? And what if RFK, who has no medical sciences degree specifically to give him the qualifications to be in the position he is, right? Maybe he is possibly right, which he's been disproven by all of science. I mean, he's been perpetuating that like seed oils are incredibly harmful and bad for us, but they actually, if you look at the data, have been indicated to be healthier. That's an example. He also said that vaccines cause autism, right, which has been disproven. There's so many different studies that disprove vaccines causing autism. There's no basis in science for that at all. So he's literally been disproven by the entire scientific community, and people still perpetuate that he's like a proponent of health.
Oh, yeah, I think he has the best interest. He might be down the wrong path.
Best interest in lying to us.
I think the best interest is saying, let's get healthy. There's nothing wrong with that.
Okay, what are his qualifications to determine what is healthy?
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
So you want someone unqualified?
No, wait a minute. Hang on. I take it back. Hang on. All right. So there's qualifications in a sense, and I'm just going to tell you for my opinion.
Yeah, I'd love to hear these qualifications.
You'll love this one. Yeah, hang on. Number one is he's a Kennedy, and you like that one, huh?
No, that was like dictator-esque type bullshit. Like you're saying, just because they're a part of like the family means that they are somehow going to be qualified for being in a position of power. That's the same, historically speaking, that's been used through kingship that we disagree with because we believe in democracy. What happened to believing in democracy and not believing that just being a part of someone's family means you're qualified?
John F. Kennedy was a great president.
That doesn't mean that everyone a part of his family, right, is going to be qualified. And also, the rest of his family also doesn't like RFK. Did you know that? His family is not fond of him.
Oh, I didn't hear that one.
If they're all qualified.
We don't hear it.
They're qualified to say that he's not a good person in that position.
I'm not sure about what his qualifications are, but he does fit the bill of making America healthy again.
And in what way? Because he's not believing in science. How is he actually making America healthier again?
I think he's doing a good part of trying to get rid of the dyes and shit that man made.
What dyes? What dyes specifically?
Red dyes and what all the other stuff. Some of the stuff that goes in our bodies isn't good for us. But you think about it, to be healthy, what's the matter? What's wrong with that? What's wrong with somebody
Then
going,
here's my question.
Hey, wait a minute. Should we take a shot? Or should we? What's wrong with that? What's the matter? I don't take flu shots anymore. No matter what, I was still getting sick once a year. But I was like, you know what? I don't really like shots. So I was like, okay, I'm just going to quit the shots. And so I don't take a flu shot anymore. And, and my doctor still, proves that, says, hey, blah, blah, blah. And I go, but they they go, hey, you're right. Do what you want to do. So I don't think that,
yeah, so how do you feel about Trump's EPA pulling back PFAS regulations and protections?
Jesus. All right.
How do you feel about them defunding cancer research? How do you feel about them defunding the CDC, the World Health Organization, in terms of our funding towards it? Does that make America healthier?
I think it does if those jobs within the group are not needed. Not every one of them's needed, my friend. Trust me.
So, no, do you know which ones specifically are not needed? Because, again, these ones have been indicated by professionals, by scientific professionals, that they are needed, that they are important.
Right? No. I know. I understand what you're saying. But if you go into it and you start looking, you will see that there are jobs that go, wait a minute. I have somebody that sits here and does this.
Do you think cancer research is needed? Do you think defunding cancer research limits jobs?
Do you think to increase funding for cancer research has done any better?
Yes, it increases how many jobs there are. One, two, it also increases the ability that we have.
See what you just said? See what
Yeah.
you just
Can I
said?
can I
You
please
said it
finish?
increases jobs. I'm sorry. Yes,
Can I please
I
finish? That's one
apologize.
thing that you
Please.
brought up earlier that you said you wanted to do. Secondly, it also provides particular resources for those that are in the field to be able to test certain types of things to see whether or not to be effective in treating cancer, right? Or whether or not there could be other types of treatments that they could then create or innovate in order to be able to create this in the first place. So this is actually a huge issue. The fact that you don't think that cancer research is going to be important. By the way, you don't think that research in general is going to be important at being able to identify what's going to have
I
better
didn't believe
scientific
that.
outcomes? That makes no sense. Research is how we establish what is going to have effective and good scientific outcomes versus what does not have effective and good scientific outcomes. Wouldn't you want to increase how much research there is happening if you want there to be better health outcomes?
Yes,
Okay, so then
but
you agree
there's a
that Donald
time.
Trump's making it worse.
No, I'm not. Our disagreement is you go, oh, it's creating jobs. Yeah, but are they really truly functional jobs that provide to the point? So
Yes,
there
and
are.
also that's what you brought up originally, so I only brought it up because you brought it
I
up.
know, and that. All right. So inside, dude. Okay, inside. Looking inside. Let's just take the VA just for a second. There are jobs in there that
The
are
Trump cut.
abused. That no, it's not the Trump. Oh, what do you mean the Trump cut now?
Yeah, Trump cut
I'm talking
jobs in the
before.
VA.
You damn right he did. Yeah, and that was a
He
good
thinks
thing,
that's
my
going to lead to
friend.
better health outcomes as well. Cutting the VA
I think it's saving.
makes health outcomes better? What?
Well, hang on. Well, you're okay. So we're health, but I'm talking about the waste of money in the government, and so he's cutting back the spending, which gives the American public
Can you give me
less
any
to
evidence this is
contribute.
waste?
The wait a minute. What's this gesture that you do with the book and? I'm sorry, I don't know that.
Oh,
What's that
oh,
mean?
this is
I'm
the
bored
source.
and I don't. I
No, this must be your source. It says "Trust me, bro." And if you look through on the different pages, there's
oh
nothing. There's
fuck. Did
nothing
have
written
I
on the
been saying?
pages.
Have I been saying trust me, bro? Have I been
Well,
saying trust
I'm
me,
just saying
bro?
that you don't have a source. When I do this gesture,
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah,
it
yeah.
essentially means that people do not have a source. They don't have evidence for their claim.
But don't we give you don't? But you're talking to the American public. You're
Yes.
talking to the American public.
Yeah.
So does that make you feel better? You're going, wait a minute. I studied up. I Googled. I LinkedIn or whatever,
Yes,
and I'm
it
more
should
knowledgeable than you.
be
But you're
better.
but
It's better to research and to critically think. Yes.
all right. Let me ask you this: you're employed, right? You work.
Yeah.
Okay. You have a job,
Yeah.
and and can I assume that you're over the age of 21?
I'm 23 years old.
Okay, fair enough. So you're coming in. I get what you're saying about this, and the only reason I asked about your age, it just gives it. It's not a detriment. You are educated, or you were well, you know, um, briefed on the topics that you want to provide, but you're forgetting about the American person, the American people. Not all of us go to school. We labor. There's laborers and there's people that, you know, have all spectrums. But the American people, it's not trying to come and say, um, like I said, the media, they tell you who's bad and who's good. Who are they to say? Who is anyone to say? You're going to go and say, well, wait a minute now. Um, I will give you kudos. I don't remember you at all bringing up any charges and stuff about Donald Trump, and I appreciate that. Um, you, you want people to do the job, and you might not like what he's doing. And to be honest, here's my thought on that: is that I think he does this National Guard stuff to keep the focus out there instead of what's going on inside, brother. That's what's going on. I think those are distractions, and you're not watching on what he's doing. And I think it's probably what he wants you to do. And so you're kind of, in a sense, I mean, that's my opinion, of course, but or a thought, should I say? Yeah, I think it's just all distractions. You know, keep them busy, let them think. When 2028 pops up, they ain't got their hand. Excuse my language.
I
And
guess the
JD Vance
distraction
takes
works because
over.
you're the one that doesn't realize that you're the one that was distracted. People are
How am I
the
distracted?
yeah, the corporations are utilizing hate and bigotry. They're utilizing, right, all these different conspiracy bullshit claims that Trump upholds specifically to then limit people from having conversations about how Donald Trump is destroying things economically speaking for working class Americans. You're under literally the guise and the lies that somehow Trump's policy is better for the average working American. That's like actually delusional. I gave you an entire conversation here, like 40 plus minutes here at this point, where I've explained to you exactly how
Yeah.
Donald Trump's policies are worse off economically speaking for low and middle income individuals. You can't give me one policy that Donald Trump would pass comparative to Kamala Harris or any Democrat that would run for office that would be better in terms of the working class Americans comparative to what the Democrats would offer. Provide me a single policy of Trump's that would.
I don't know because it's not affecting me.
Exactly. So, like, what's the point of you
But
saying all of this stuff that, like, I'm the one that is forgetting about the American people when actually you're
I'm
the one
middle
that's forgetting about the
class.
American people, that you can't provide any specific reason specifically as to what would benefit working class Americans, and you're saying that I'm somehow out of touch. It seems like you're the one that's out of
No,
touch here, sir.
I don't think I'm out of touch. I'm living it.
You said
I'm
you live it.
actually
You just said you
living.
weren't. You just said you weren't.
No. I said that what you're projecting is not affecting my life. And I assure you, sir, I am middle class, working, working middle class. So I can only say that it's not affecting me. If, like I said, we were talking before, if I can't afford it, then I don't need it. And if I really want it, then I'll pay that extra cash for it. But I understand the tariff business, but it's a whole different ball of wax. We're trying to do something
So
and
you're
trying to
okay
get
with paying
China
extra
to.
taxes so that you can give tax breaks to millionaires and billionaires disproportionately? You see how that doesn't make any
You
sense?
know, but
You would have gotten the same
there,
tax breaks under Kamala Harris administration because she wanted to keep all the tax cuts for people whose income is under $400,000 a year. If you don't make over $400,000 a year because you don't because you said you're middle class,
I don't.
then it is the
Yes.
case that you would be better off under Harris's administration compared to Trump's. And I understand that
Well,
you don't
so
see that
far,
because Trump is the one that's in office, but that is the reality. You would be better off right now if it was the case that Harris was the president. And I'll explain to you how. I'll
but
tell you
you're
how. I told you real
no,
GDP
it's
growth,
not. No.
job growth.
I understand what you're saying, but you're not living. You're not living my life. So how do you
I don't
know
I
it's?
don't need to
You're
live your
saying,
life in order to tell you what would be better off or worse off economically speaking. I have a degree in economics. I can read basic statistics. I took statistics courses. I can identify
okay,
this to be true. That's all you would need. That's all you need to
okay,
critically think enough to be able to determine whether or not the economy would be worse off or better off, right, given the administration being in office. And I explained to you all of the different indicators. Real GDP growth
all right,
going down, the jobs report being horrible and worse. Donald Trump literally had to even fire the head of the Bureau of Labor Statistics because he said that they were putting out politically biased information because he thinks the jobs
yeah,
report was so bad.
yeah, I get that one. Yeah, that wasn't great. It doesn't look
Inflation
good.
going up. I can go through all the different indicators within the
I
economy.
know, but it
Manufacturing investment has
happens.
also declined since Trump got in office.
And there is intention is good about bringing it back to the U.S. The reason it really won't work in the U.S. is because we want more money. You really going to tell me I need to pay somebody $15 an hour to work at Mickey D's? Are you fucking kidding me? Excuse that. Are you kidding me?
The minimum wage being $15 would be needed and necessary. Do you realize that the minimum wage hasn't increased since 2009 on a federal basis?
Well, I don't even know what the minimum wage
And if
is.
it
What
was
is it now?
adjusted for inflation, it would
What is the
be
minimum
just
wage right
around there.
now?
It's
What's the minimum
725 on a
wage right?
federal stage.
Oh wow, okay, yeah. Last time I cared about. All right, wow, that's crazy. The
Isn't
minimum
that
wage is
it hasn't
$8.
changed since 2009? Do you
Okay,
realize that's ridiculous?
well,
It should be adjusted for inflation.
yeah, but not $15, dude.
Well, if you adjust it for
Maybe if you
inflation, it
maybe.
would be I'm pretty sure it'd be between 13 to 15 if you adjust for inflation.
Okay. You know what? Hell, I wouldn't do half the shit I'd do if I. Yeah, if I could live on $15 an hour. Jesus, yeah.
Yeah, if
I
anything,
don't
it should be
know.
higher. Like, I mean, the idea that like
No,
people deserve.
if
Wait,
you're a
I'm sorry.
manager or
The
something like
idea that
that.
you have in your head
Sorry,
that like
sorry.
people don't deserve to be paid enough to live is crazy.
That's not it. No.
That's literally what it is. I'm
If you
sorry.
work,
Explain to
well,
me.
yeah, you're right. I think it's and I'm not judging. We all, yes, in a sense, I am. But if I was able to find a job that I could work now, if McDonald's was the only thing, it's a whole nother story. but I'm still not going to give you $15 an hour. If you want to work at McDonald's, it's because you just don't, in my opinion, you'd have to, if you move up in management, all that stuff, that's a whole nother story.
Wait, so I'm sorry.
too,
I'm sorry.
but
If someone works
I
40
think you
hours a
could do
week, should
better.
they be
I
able
think
to
you could do
survive?
better.
If someone works 40 hours a
Absolutely.
week, should they be able to survive?
Absolutely. But
Okay.
if you, yeah, absolutely.
So then the idea that you have in your head that they don't
maybe you're
deserve
right about the
a
whole
$15
goddamn-
minimum wage would be insane, because what you're
No.
saying, all we're saying is that
Yeah.
someone deserves a living wage. What? Like, is that
All
crazy?
right. No, now it makes sense after I said it to you.
Yeah, you
thinking to
got to
myself,
see if the point of
It's
the
a
minimum is to
job,
ensure a
though.
baseline.
I just think you got to really be just in a, excuse me, you got to be really in a down hole to want to do that. Anyway.
Okay, I mean, I don't think you should be stigmatizing people that work in fast food in
I'm
general.
not.
Like, I think that would
Oh,
be a
God,
bad thing to
no,
do
no.
because, yeah, I think that's a
Well, I
bad
was
thing to
just
do
saying,
because
yeah.
I think that
would
that's a
know.
job. I think that's working. You know, I think that like
Oh,
any
absolutely.
job specifically, right, that is particularly within the market should be enough to be able to allow for you to live. You know, the idea that like someone shouldn't live or that they should be made fun of specifically for like just working in like, so for example, the fast food industry would be ridiculous.
Yeah, true. Well, there you go. Hey, saw the light on that one, huh?
Yeah. So then, like, why do you still support Trump if he's worse off for you economically speaking? If he's worse off for the country economically speaking?
not.
If he wanted to terminate
He's
all rules,
not.
regulations, articles, even those found in the Constitution, was held civilly liable. Right. Said he would date a 10-year-old girl in 10 years. Why do you
He
still
did?
support him? Given after doing all of those things.
I didn't date a 10-year-old, but anyway, yeah.
You know, he said that he
Um,
would date a 10-year-old girl in 10 years. I can play the audio if you'd like to hear it.
Oh, he did? Oh,
Yeah, do you wanna
dude, I wouldn't want to hear any stupid shit like that.
Well, then why
Oh
do
my
you support
God.
it?
He's doing what I want done.
Like what?
To be honest, illegal immigrants.
Wait, actually, how about this?
That's-
Name one
that's-
policy that Trump has passed that has benefited you, and and give me the way in which it's benefited you. Like, tell me, explain it.
None of it. None of
No
it's
policy has
benefited
benefited you.
me. No, it hasn't hurt me.
So if no policy has benefit you, then why would you say that you support him?
Because it hasn't hurt me.
What?
If it's bettering, if it's doing, if it. So
name one way
Hold on,
Democratic
did it-
policy.
did it
Wait,
affect
name
me?
one way Kamala Harris's policy would hurt you.
Probably not. Probably wouldn't.
Okay, so given that neither of them hurt you in terms of policy, and neither of them, under your view, benefit you in terms of policy,
Right,
then what you
right.
would judge is based upon character, right? And Donald Trump's character is significantly worse. He was held civilly liable, called his daughter voluptuous, which means curvy and attractive. He bragged about walking in the changing rooms of naked women without their consent when they were changing. And an 18-year-old came out and said there were 4 girls as young as 15 years old in these changing rooms where Donald Trump would barge in while they were changing. Right, that's the guy you still defend, given that there's no difference in the way that it impacts your life from a policy standpoint?
All right. So, he's a man. He's a man.
Okay, so if Donald
What are
Trump
you
and
gonna
Kamala
say?
Harris, if Donald Trump and Kamala Harris swapped bodies,
yeah, no.
listen,
Yeah, I'm talking-
listen. If Donald Trump and Kamala Harris swapped bodies, Donald Trump and Kamala Harris's body, and Kamala Harris and Donald Trump's body, who would you vote for?
No. I'm sorry. I was listening to the last. I wasn't answering the first. Trust me on that one. I was answering the back end about him busting into.
No, answer my question. Answer my
dressing
question.
rooms.
If Donald, no, you said that he's a man.
No.
Is that the
he's
reason
a
why you
man.
support him? You
That-
said.
No, God, no. No. The reason I support him is
Why'd you say that he's a
won.
man then?
he won. Oh, I told you for the end of your rant, not your rant, but your explanation about the young girls and shit. As far as but you threw the young girls in there, the 15-year-olds. I don't approve of that. But as far as him barging into pageant things and however he bragged about women, the guy's always loved girls. It's always been,
I'm sorry.
thing.
He's
So,
barging into the changing rooms while they're changing without their consent.
He's just. It's
That's
a brag.
don't just write that off as like it's a quote unquote brag or
I
that's
am.
man behavior,
I
because that's
did.
disgusting
I did.
and predatory behavior.
Oh, whatever.
Yeah, it is
You-
disgusting and predatory. What do you mean?
Who-
Wait, I'm
who's
sorry. I have a
to
question. I have a
say that
question.
he
I have a
did
question. Do you have a significant other?
absolutely.
If your significant other was changing in that room, would you
I
be
have
okay with Donald
offspring.
Trump barging into that changing room when your significant other was changing?
I think they were probably accidents.
Answer the question. Answer the question. If
Would
Donald
I
Trump
be
barged, if
offended?
Donald Trump barged in the changing room and your significant other was in that changing room changing, and Donald Trump did that without their
Yeah.
consent, would you still support him as president?
Yeah.
You would? You would still support him as president even though he barged into the
Yeah,
changing room of your significant other while they're changing without their consent.
Yeah. No.
What is wrong with you? What is wrong with you?
He didn't do it knowingly.
Yes, he did. He
didn't
bragged
do it.
about it. Do you want me to
No,
play
he
the?
didn't.
I'll play the clip right now of Donald Trump bragging about it, of him saying that
my
he
God.
got away with it and that it
think-
was a funny thing. Do you want to hear?
Are you
Do you
going
want to
off
hear?
to Billy Bush?
No,
Are we
stop.
going
Listen.
back to Billy Bush?
No, this is. I don't even know what you're talking about.
How
Listen.
far back? What's the age?
Listen. Hold up.
What's the year?
This is from
No,
2000.
no. What's the
This
year?
is from.
If it's Billy Bush. You know this.
It's from the early 2000s on Howard Stern.
Oh, dude. Yes. Of course we know about that.
Wait, I'm sorry. Are you okay with that?
Dude, do you just want
Listen to
do what
this.
you
Listen to this.
say?
Listen to this.
And
Well, you
You're
could also
going
say,
to
as the owner of the
2000. I
pageant,
love
it's your
this.
obligation.
Hey, listen.
Say, as the owner of
I-
the pageant, it's your obligation to do that.
so you have done that. Now, tell
Well,
me
I'll
what
tell you the funniest is that I'll go backstage before a show.
Yes.
And everyone's getting dressed and ready and everything else. And, no men are anywhere. And I'm allowed to go in because I'm the owner of the pageant, and therefore I'm inspecting it. I'm inspecting. I want to make sure that
You're like a
everything is
doctor.
good.
You're there.
Yeah, the dress. Is everyone okay? They're standing there with no clothes. Is everybody okay? And you see these incredible-looking women. And so I sort of get away with things like that.
So would you be okay if one of the women that he barged in while they were changing, without their consent, that was while they were changing, if one of them specifically was your significant other, would you still vote for him?
Yeah.
Yeah, you're disgusting. I'm sorry. How do you sit behind that and defend
Why-
that? You're fucking gross. What if it was What if it was your daughter?
It's not the thing of it. You're taking it out of context, and that's.
What if
that's
it was
why
your daughter? No,
you're
seriously.
fu-
What if it was your daughter?
I'd still vote for him.
You still vote for him? If he went up to your 10-year-old daughter when she
absolutely.
was 10 years old and he said he would date her in 10 years, would you still vote for him?
I would look at him and say, "Oh no. I would probably laugh because
You'd laugh.
he's just
You would
saying
laugh
that
at him.
She's
You
pretty.
laugh at him and your little girl.
I don't think it's.
That is absolutely. What are you talking about?
And you, it's not just because he says
That is
somebody's
totally.
pretty.
I'm sorry, you're gross,
I don't
dude.
think-
You're actually gross. Dude, you
That's
hear
not
yourself right now.
true.
Name one thing Donald Trump could do that would get you to stop supporting him.
One thing that would get me to do. It has to be big, dude. It can't be out. It has to be out.
He can't even do it, dude. He can't even do it. Say it. Name one thing that Donald Trump could do that would get you to stop supporting him. It's not a hard question.
Keep funding Ukraine.
He did do that. So you don't support him anymore because he continued funding for Ukraine?
Yeah.
No
there you
way
go.
he just said that. No way he just said that. Not the being held civilly liable, not the walking in to the changing room of his naked significant other without their consent or his daughter, right? It's specifically funding Ukraine, which he did do. So now tell me, would you stop supporting Donald Trump now, given that you have the knowledge that he has funded Ukraine again, continually?
No, the reason I wouldn't.
So you wouldn't stop supporting him. So
No,
name one thing that
No,
Donald
I
Trump
just
could do.
couldn't think of it.
No,
There's
then answer this.
nothing- I don't
Name,
think there is anything.
There's nothing.
I
Are
don't
you
think there's
trolling? Are you
anything.
trolling? If
No, no, I don't. I'm sorry. I don't use that kind of language. I don't know.
I kicked him. If you can't name a single thing that Donald Trump could do that would get you to stop supporting him, you're a cult member.